This morning, we're continuing our series on climate change, looking at how climate change is affecting everyone on the planet.
Yeah, Meredith, but the one thing is it doesn't affect everyone equally. People of color are far more likely to live in areas where warming temperatures are exacerbating asthma rates. And they're also more likely to live in places where extreme temperatures can cause related deaths. So let's take a look.
I started to hear more about this climate change happening, and I'm hearing these words often, and I'm like, what is that? What is this about? As I looked into it, I'm like, whoa, this affects me. This affects the community that I live in.
Poor air quality, flooding, and heat waves are just a few of the ways minority communities are disproportionately impacted by climate change, leading to a 34% higher chance for childhood asthma in people of color and a 40% higher chance of temperature-related deaths.
Having a child that has asthma and suffered, I started to privilege myself to these spaces where the conversations were happening.
A space not easy to navigate, where science jargon often blurs a message that needs to be clear.
Let's keep it real. Who would be hardest impacted by climate change? And that's me, people that look like us.
I spoke with an expert to find out why that is.
Grand Rapids is one of those cities that we've been able to identify in terms of having experienced what in the 1930s was redlinings.
A discriminatory practice that outlined areas where people of color lived. It was associated with financial risk and little resources, which forced communities of color to live in areas with fewer trees or parks, often surrounded by factories and cities. While this practice is illegal today, its impacts are still felt.
We conducted a study last year that looked at 108 cities, including Grand Rapids, and found that the relationship between those areas that were redlined were places that were consistently hotter than their non-redlined counterparts.
And being warmer outside has a much deeper meaning inside these vulnerable communities.
It means decreased air quality. It means lack of food. Crops, you're talking about rising temperatures and waters, crops will be damaged. So that's food security. And so that means that my community, the ones that's already suffered far too much, far too long, will be the ones hardest impacted.
Which is why now is the time to raise awareness and take action, such as making your voice heard by local representatives,
climate change is not a lie, do not let our futures die,
reducing your energy use, and respecting and protecting green spaces.
We have a right and a duty to protect ourselves, and we have a right and a duty to live no matter what we make, no matter where we live. We love our children to the same degree.
A stark reminder there of the ways in which climate change is impacting everyday people in unequal ways. People, as Tabitha said, that have already endured way too much. Jay?